Shubor na Khlem jong unong san Hima.
Menteri rangba kajala ukan rat ke sangma ulapan pau baka result SSLC jong ka embos manta usnam kadai ke bapenhun bat penkemen shi kadai e u namar ka jingkiu ka jingdon ki Khynnah ki bapas bani nujor bat kisnam ki baladap ya kani ulakran hadian belawai ka jingelang ki kunhun menteri menta sngi ka pratarik ya yong arja arpesan habakran halor ka kot Ïarap ki Khynnah ha ka exam ka CM impact menteri rangba udaong baka aka baro kadai ka Jingtrei Shitom jong ki Khynnah pulie Wala ka sorkar ka penmi bon teli ki kot Ïarap Hendrei ka syong sah ki Khynnah skul bakin Jingtrei Shitom namar ka sorkar ka syuai ki Ïarap ban pensuk ya ki ban puli kumta uloong bana kalyang jong unam shim badai na ka CM impact baki Khynnah ki pas bha menta usnam Hendrei ka dei na ka Jingtrei Shitom ki Khynnah ban krakon Shushu menteri rangba ulai khublei ki Khynnah ki balapoi syakathong bat ulai mensim ru ek tu ki Khynnah ki bamshim lapoi syakathong bakin nang Jingtrei Shitom ban poi syakathong menteri rangba uloong ru baka jingkan tia we ka puli puthi kalong ka ba e bha bat ka we ni ki jing e kalong halor ka jingdon bon teli ki tanat skul ha ka ju ka ying skul uloong bha ka we ka ying skul ki don kumba south teli ki jait skul kita ki skul ki dei ki badon ha ka ju ka skul ki badon ha ka deficit ad hoc bat ki skul shimet kumta ka ni ka wanra e ka jinghyar ha ka PGI index hendrei ula benra baka sorkar ka lapet benya halor ka ni bat kala persyang ban penbet ya ka ni ki jing e
Results have been something that I've been very, very concerned about for a very long time. And the way I have always observed and seen this entire process is that our students are not able to prepare for the exams sometimes, especially in the rural areas. And of course, it's a very large process which starts with work and education system at the grassroots level in terms of the LP school, upper primary, secondary level. So obviously work has to be done at all the levels. But we have desired to see that the results would improve, and many people in society have wanted it. And parents have been also very concerned. And so multiple interventions were done by us, including aspects of training of teachers, students, training in some specific districts which were not doing so well in the past, and of course the introduction of the CM Impact books. If you remember, when I launched these CM Impact books, I had very clearly mentioned in my remarks that all exams that are there, whether it's premier exams like the civil service exams, IITs, entrance exams, IM entrance exams, or even GMAT exams. There is a process in which every exam is cracked, and students study for it. So therefore, and question papers are something that are given in all exams. If you see in all formats, whether IIT entrance exam, as I said, IIM, NEET exams, in all of them there are question formats, and therefore we took a page from there and we decided that we should give a question format to the students so that it allows them to structure the actual question and be able to figure out the answers and be able to really relate to the question. So that is really what the purpose of this was, and we're very happy. I tell you, I'm one of the happiest persons when this happened. I was telling some of my friends, I was telling my wife that among all the results in terms of the overall response and the outcomes that I have seen in the last 7 to 8 years, this may be one of the most satisfying and happy moments for me in terms of seeing the kind of results that have come. And the reason I say this is because you have to imagine that a child in class 10 who's just starting his or her life has to fail an exam in class 10, and that could be maybe the beginning of the end of the dreams that he or she may have had. And it really used to bother me to see that our children are not able to clear the metric exam and we were not able to help them. So to answer your question, yes, people will say things. I have no comments on what people want to say negatively. But I look at it from that child's perspective, and I'm happy to see that we've been able to make a difference in those child's life, in their future, where they'll be at least able to follow their dreams. Things will always be tough. Things will always be competitive. This booklet is not going to make them the IAS officers immediately as they wanted to be. They have to work hard for it. But at least they'll be able to move forward at a certain level and have the necessary qualifications. Coming to the aspect of issues of understanding the subject, understanding the content versus answering the questions, these aspects will always be there. At the end of the day, we have to realize that no matter what booklets we provide, no matter what questions we give, it is ultimately the students who have to work hard. So I don't in any way give or take any credit, and that's the reason why, if you've noticed, I have not made any statements when it came to this, because at the end I believe that it is the hard work of the students. I give credit to the students. They have worked hard, they have spent time. Even if the booklets are there, it does not mean you'll automatically learn everything just by seeing the book. You have to study. We only allowed the system to be structured in a manner that would make it easier for them to study. And there's nothing wrong in that. Because at the end of the day, the student will have to study those questions. They will have to work hard. But as I said, we structured it better for them. They worked hard, they studied hard. I must congratulate all the students who have passed. And I encourage those also who didn't make it, that this is not the end. You continue to work hard, you will be successful in the exams. And I wish all the students the very best. Having said that, we have challenges, because now that the numbers have gone up, we need more higher secondary schools, and courses have to be given. We have already started discussions in that aspect also. And we are talking to many of the secondary schools who have the desire to open up higher secondary, whether it's government or private or government aided schools. And in all of them we are working and discussing with them to have more courses for the higher secondary admissions. And I want to tell the students that yes, we may all want to be in the premier institutes, but then there will not be space for everybody in the top institutes. So we'll have to be flexible. There will be room for everyone, but there will not be room for everyone in only those institutes which they want to go to. So obviously there's going to be different options that are there, and hence I urge the students, like we all do for college admissions in our time also, that you should have option A, option B and option C. Apply in all, and then even if you're not able to get your option A, whatever options you get, don't discontinue your studies and continue your studies within the higher secondary level. So that's my message to also the students. And once again, I congratulate all the students who have done an excellent work and hard work to achieve the success that they have achieved in their class 10 exams.
Sir, also will this help to bring down the dropout rates?
Yes, there are many things that we want to do. In fact, I did not share with you today, but we had the second or third round, you can say, of the presentation from the education department as an informal item today, and more details have been shared with the cabinet and with us regarding the complications that the education department faces. So education is a very, very complicated subject, not in terms of only the education in terms of the different educational aspects, but the different categorizations and the numbers that we have. So it's a very complicated situation, and hence we need to untangle, as I said, the knots, but we need to do it in a manner that it doesn't disrupt the system too much also. So it's very complicated, but we are moving on it. Like I just give you a small example. You see, we have a lot of challenges in terms of the PGI, the index, performance grade index. And one of the reasons why we're not able to move very positively in the direction is that in the same campus, in the same building, we have 4 schools. So what happens is that, so you have the SSA LP school, then you have the XYZ SSA school, then you have the XYZ ad hoc school, ad hoc upper primary, then you have the government LP school XYZ. So you have 4 schools. They're all the 4 different categories, but they're the same school, technically speaking. But just because we have an SSA category, we have a government LP school category, we have a thing. So for LP, they are SSA. For upper primary, they become ad hoc. Then for secondary, they become deficit. Then for higher secondary, they become government. So this kind of 4-5 classifications then brings down the overall ranking and the facilities, because that same facility is divided among 4 schools. So in the terms of our classification, it's actually 4 schools, but for all practical purposes, it's just one school called XYZ. But because the categories, so these kind of things then brings down the facilities that are there, which are then divided among the schools, which then brings down the average and reflects badly on the PGI index. Now, can we bring them all together in one? Is again a big question, because one happens to be SSA, the other category is ad hoc, the government school. So I'm just sharing with you one of the problems. So these are very complex problems, which leads to a lot of results, which then bring down our rankings. But slowly and steadily, we are working on it. So I've always maintained this, that for us to be able to take the right steps forward to resolve a problem starts with the correct diagnosis of the problem. So we cannot just jump into a solution without knowing what the problem is. And that's why actually we went into this entire CM impact mode and have the booklets, is because we realized that a lot of the students are understanding the concept to some extent, but somehow they're not able to get the question and answer format in their minds. And that's why we came up with CM impact, to allow that structuring to take place. And we're happy that we were able to guide the students. And as I said, this is not something that just we do. Every exam, everywhere you go, there is a question and answer format for all top exams, whether civil service, as I said, for IIT, IIM, all of them have the same format. And we use that, and we're happy that the students have been guided well with it, and we've seen the results. And as I said, we hope that we'll continue the reforms in the future also.
Are you planning to do away with so many categories of school?
Well, it's very desirable, very, very desirable. And I use the word desirable because we see the benefit in it. But it is very sticky at the same time, because obviously each category has got its own complex problems. Now, bringing them all under the same board or same categorization will need us to consult deeply with the teachers, the managing committees, with the stakeholders. And therefore, yes, we have a plan. I don't want to share too much of it right now. We have a plan, and we are consulting with people, and that's why you must be seeing a lot of letters being sent to colleges, schools. They, of course, after getting the letters, they are concerned that government is going to take some drastic measures. It's not. We're just simply trying to understand the situation, the complication, because without understanding that, then we don't know how to move forward. So diagnosis is going on. We're trying to understand the problems, and yes, it is desirable that we should have lesser categories, because it's easier to then structure the system, easier to manage the system, and it gives a much more uniform approach to everything. But as I said, it's not that simple. It needs to be deeply consulted, and stakeholders have to be brought on board. And it may take time, but we will start the consultations and figure out how we move forward. And it was in fact in those lines that we had the presentation today also.